This is the PL-89 Gematriatic Quantum Thought Calendar for today, which is Friday, December 26th, 2025, and it is Yom Shishi, which is the sixth day of the week. The sixth day of Tevet, 5786. The Torah portion of the week is called Vayigash, and the Daf Yomi for today is Zevachim 103. And this calendar serves a few purposes. It's a few calendars in one, and it also serves to hold a lot of different diverse kinds of data together in one place, and there's other tables like it. There's my work with pi, a special way that I've graphed out pi, broken pi into 3-digit pieces and in 10 rows and 10 columns. 10 columns and 282 rows, and so there's 30 digits per column. I count 314, like the first, that 3 there, I count that as the first digit. Some people only count after the decimal point. They only go 141, 592, etc. But for me, the first so-called word of pi is 314, and then 159, 265, like that. So 3 times 10, each row there's 10, there's 30, 3-digit pieces, and 10 columns, so that's 30 per row, and there are 282 rows. Why 282? I'm not sure. That's just when it stopped, and after that I give all kinds of reasons why. I mean, I look at Rabbi Nachman's very, very famous Torah, Rabbi Nachman Breslov, called the Zamra, and I worked at a place called the Zamra once. It was like I did some music there. It's like a music school for autistic children, and I did some music there for a short period of time. It was less than 6 months, maybe 5 months. But that teaching is teaching 282, Reish Pei Beis, and so I immediately connected the amount of rows in my infinity pi matrix to that Torah. It's basically, it starts off with judging everyone favorably. I will sing, be happy. It's kind of like very positive things. But this calendar, that's my infinity pi matrix. It's a graph. It's not like this in the sense in pi. It's just like a lot of different numbers. It's just like if you break it down into threes, it's sort of like, I would say, compared to the PL-89, it's chaotic. It's chaotic because if you say like 314 and then 159, 265, 358, 969, 323, 842, 264, like what does one have to do with the other? So the work in PL-89 is very different mind frame. It's a different like meditation. Over there with pi, I have to really think with gematria and try to make sense of why 159 would come after 314. Why would 265 come after 159, etc., and give good reasons for it, logical reasons, and try to find different patterns. But this is not like that. This is extremely predictable, and it's based on verses in the Bible that give certain numbers to think about. Everything here has a biblical, I would say most things, for now, like 90%. Here, more, maybe 95%, is biblically based. And it's biblically based on non-ambiguous passages. Passages that everyone would agree on, whether you're a Jew or whether you're a Christian or whether anybody or atheist or anything. If you're reading the text, it's what it says. You don't even need commentaries for it. Like, for example, the amount of time on this calendar is 3 months. I'll say that very general. It's it's 3 months in general, but it can be 90 days or it can be 89 days, it can be 88 days, depending on the type of month and based on the lunar and solar calendar. But if I said 88 days, you would agree with me that that's basically 3 months. And so sometimes it could be 91 days, because if it ended off on a Gregorian month, then they would have, let's say it ended off on a January 31st, so it would end off on 31, so it would be more than 90 days. But this basically is biblically based in that if I say 3 months at a time, there are a few times in the Bible where it mentions 3 months. And that's what this is based on. Everyone, whether you're, anyone who reads the Bible will say that when they read Exodus 2 and they read, I don't even know if Rashi comments on it, about 3 months. It's 3 months, is like everyone knows what 3 months is. 3 months, 90 days. What other ways? Okay. 12 weeks. And you can break down into hours, minutes. But what you're looking at here, this actual literal graph, this table, is 80 boxes, because it's 8 columns and 10 rows. So you might be thinking, where is that extra 10 days? That extra 10 days is over here. It's invisible. And it's known as the 10-day twilight period. 10-day twilight period. And so that's one of the reasons why it's called the PL-89, because you have 80, you have that 8, that 80 represents the 8 represents the 80, and then 90 is its own, it's like its own, it's got its own strip of land, so to speak. It's got its own municipality. It's like you have this and then 10. But together that's 90 days. So that's a 10 days. That's what's called the PL-89. 8 and 9. But there's more reasons that it's 8 and 9. It wasn't the first reason. That was one of the later reasons. The first reason that it was 89 is that it's based on a verse in the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, and in the verses around verse 20. It's maybe a little bit after 20. It might be 20, 21, 22, 23, where it talks about the sabbatical year, and the person is wondering what they'll eat. During the 7th year, they didn't reap or sow. They didn't gather any produce. What are we going to eat? And the Bible, the Scripture, addresses this very human concern, worrying about what they're going to eat, and says that if you keep this, then God will command a blessing for 3 years, the 6th, 7th, and 8th year. But what it says is that it mentions 8 and 9. And those are the last numbers that it mentions, 8 and 9. And that was the basis for this calendar, 8 and 9. That's one of the reasons why it's called the PL-89, but also 89 days is also just about 3 months. So it works out really nice. It's a very recursive idea that all these ideas, they all kind of fit together. There's another thing that, and these reasons were found at different times. There's another idea that 8 times 9 is 72. And if you look at, if you ever see a graph, if you ever see a graph or picture a chart of the 72 letter names of God, 72 letter names, 72 names of God that are derived from passages from verses in the book of Exodus, each verse has exactly 72 letters and 3 verses, and they're lined up, and then an acrostic forms 72, three letters from each of those verses. You write one forwards, one in reverse, and the other one forwards. That's one way. Or you can write them all forward. There's 2 ways of doing it. But in any case, what you do is you take the 3 letters from each verse and you line them up, and they become words. And those words are what's known as the 72-letter name, or the 72 names of God. And they're exactly like this. And I had no idea about this thing when I made this. In 2012, when I started this, that was not anywhere in sight. But afterwards, I started, years later, I started to study it, and I started to see that it fits exactly in the same way. It's except it stops at this line because it's 8 times 9 is 72. But there's yet another reason why it's called the PL-89, another 89, and there's many more reasons. But I'll stop at that for now. On this calendar today, which is it's a lunar and solar calendar, so it's both the Hebrew and the Gregorian calendar together in one calendar. I don't know if that's been done before, but it's done here. And there's 3 months, and then there's 4 of them per year. There's 4 of these things per year, and it also has a connection to planet Mercury, which it's a long explanation, which I will explain at a different time. And I have explained it before as well. On this calendar, the 6th of Tevet, the Hebrew month, or the 6th day of any month in this dispensation. When I say dispensation, it's another thing, but in this dispensation, it's like a setting. There's 3 settings, and right now we're in the last setting. We're in the 3rd setting, which is to complete in the Omer time, like after Passover, of this coming year, of 5786 or 2026, God willing. So the box today is number 1. A 6th of any month, any cardinal month, which is like January or Tevet or April, Nisan, or July, Tammuz, or Tishrei, October. Those are cardinal months. The 6th day of the month will always be box number 1, right here. That's not the first box. The box is just printed number 1 on it. Because remember, it's based on 8 and 9, so it's not going to look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be 8, 17, 25, 34, etc. Okay, so that's the 6th of Tevet right here. The coordinates are B9, right here. That's the Hebrew date. But the Gregorian date, which is December 26th, or any immutable month in this dispensation. Notice I said cardinal before, mutable. You can look up cardinal, mutable, and fixed months in astrology. Look that up. There's a lot written about it. But because of time, I'm not going to explain it. But I've explained it, and I will explain it again, God willing. So, 26th day of any mutable month, like December, like September, like March, or like June, or like Sivan, Adar, any of those months, it's always going to be right here, 36. So today, December 26th, December is a mutable month, and just want to make a little explanation. I said December is a mutable month. That's like my rendering of it, because you might say that mutable only applies to the signs. So like at the end of December, it's actually Capricorn, so then it would be cardinal. So when I say December is a mutable month, what I mean is most of December, that's in Sagittarius. So really it's Sagittarius that's mutable, and because of that, December is. So that's what I mean by that, just a little explanation. So any one of those months are always going to be in box 36. Okay? Coordinates are H7.